Onions, I can't live without them. They're number one, they're very, very healthy for you. They're very, very delicious. You get different types of onion, a green onion, a red onion, and they all have their application in the kitchen. But how you cut your onion for what you're cooking in the kitchen, now this makes a big, big difference. So with our bobotie, what we're going to be doing is we're going to obviously have bobotie, which is our hero. It's our wonderful South African dish. And with that, we have some side dishes and some condiments and accompaniments that go with it. And one of those are going to be a sambal. Now, there's nothing worse than chunking into or biting into like this very pungent big chunk of onion. So that we want to be nice and fine. So I'm not going to get all chefy with you and go tick, 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 tick like this. I'm going to just show you how we do it at home. And then the other one is how we chop the onion up for our bobotie. You're not making a braise with big onion rings in it. This, we want it to be small so that it almost fits with the mincemeat, you know, because ground beef, mincemeat it's quite fine. And we want you to cook nice and quickly. So I'm going to show you both ways of doing it. I'm going to give you a little tip as well, because in my house, often what they say is we don't like onions. Well, sorry for you, my friend. What I do is I take the onion and I salt it and I make that baby sweat. You have no idea how delicious that onion syrup is. So if you have wingers like I have at home, when I make a potato salad, I just stir in that lovely syrup and Bob's your uncle. They have no idea, and the flavor is still there. Okay, so let's do the one. I'm going to just like do a half a one. Let's do this one for the bobotie first. I'm going to just cut the onion. I've peeled it. You can leave the root intact if you want to. You can use a small knife or you can use a big knife. What we want to do is you can measure how big or how small you want those little blocks, okay, that you're going to be frying. You also, for the cooking of the bobotie, you don't want them too fine because you don't want your onions to burn. And they burn very, very quickly because they have lots of natural sugars, so that catches the light before you know what's hit you. And I want about like that. That's the size I want, and it's very easy when you're doing this to measure the size. Okay, so this is the size that we would like you to cut your onions. I'm saying we would like you to cut your onions, because when we start cooking, darling, if you have not prepped your station, you're eating at midnight, because we're going to go on without you. And I wouldn't ever leave you alone, but I would like to see your kitchens all ready and prepped for when we start, okay? You can even make your sambal up front and pop it into the fridge. So this is the shape and size that I want for the bobotie. Let's do another one. I'm just going to go 1, 2, like so. And that, if you have a look at, that's about how thick it is, and then you can just cut it to the thickness. You have control. You can actually control the size of your little onion block that you're wanting. Just pop that back and just keep your fingers out of the way of the cleaver. Just move your fingers back as you cut, okay? Look at that. This is nice and it's easy, and you can make that up front and just pop it aside. This one didn't go through really, really well. Have a look at that. Okay, so this is what we need for our bobotie. Then for the sambal, I'm going to, I really like onions, so I don't mind how big or small it is, but not many people like it like that. So what I've done is I've just taken my onion, I've made numerous cuts over the top of it like that, and then I'm going to do this like so. Tiny, tiny little cuts. And that tip I gave you about the salt, if you want to get the most deliciousness, even if you're making that potato salad for someone who's going to actually eat the onion, salt your onions before you add the other ingredients. You're going to love me for that tip. Okay, have a look at this. So now look, it looks like a little flower, and then just cut into it. Just keep your fingers back and move them along. As you cut, look at that, easy peasy. I don't mind how you cut it, my darlings, as long as you don't cut yourself.